pain. We keep it so mellow that we speaking your refrain. Adam Story's got a point if you let him explain. It's the pun of all puns, get a pun with Papa Wayne. Rum tapping the vein, and 9 minutes bringing pain. MHOG secreting, leaving a stain. You ain't as dope as us, bitch. Stay in your lane.
And we're back. You listen to the sweet sounds of the Metal Hand of God podcast. I'm your host, Rockin' Steve, and sitting with me on the other side of the country is...
Rockin' Rum.
I like that. We should just talk like this the whole time.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
I don't... You know what? I changed my mind. I'm feeling really douchey talking like that.
Hey, everybody, it's the MHOG. Feeling douchey. How about you?
I usually do. You know. You know what? Speaking of douchey things, you know, I make a lot of jokes about, you know, banging underage girls. You know, and anyone who's listened to the show for more than 5 minutes knows I don't get laid. So it's, I don't know if that means that I'm more likely to have sex with an underage girl or less. I feel like it's less, but who knows? You can make an argument either way.
Hey, if you're old enough to buy beer, you got a good chance.
What was with the? Was that your dog?
No, that's the wind.
I'm glad because it sounded like a cat purring, like I don't know.
No, so it's here on this freaking island, and for some reason we're getting some insane winds, and it's blowing across the house and the windows, and it sounds like freaking ghosts outside, like from Scooby Doo. Mm-hmm. It's really weird. But anyway, yeah, that's what the noise is. Sorry, y'all.
No, I was talking the other day about Harry Potter and you know, Emma Watson. Have you seen the? Well, we'll get to what I was going to talk about in a second. But have you seen the new video for the not video, the clip of her singing from the opening of Beauty and the Beast?
I did see it, but I really didn't pay much attention to it. I was doing 10 things at the same time. But yeah, I have seen it.
Okay, you know, she's actually, you know, I'm actually rather impressed. Like her voice she's doing the opening song, like Everyday Ordinary Girl or whatever it is, or Strange Girl, whatever it's called.
Yeah, she does pretty good?
Yeah. But I was looking at it, and we're I'm sorry?
I said I'll have to listen to it better.
Okay. Yeah, no, yeah, you should check it out. It's online, but
I did see a promo for the movie, and it actually was rather impressive, what I thought.
It is. I think it's just going to look like a more gothic looking, like, straight translation. It's not going to be like the Maleficent movie, which I don't know if you saw that. I rather liked it.
I did too.
But Maleficent was like a complete retelling of the story. You know, like a lot of the same events happened, but they didn't, you know, like they kind of changed their perspective on it and just offered it different. I feel like this is just going to be, hey, this is just a live action version of this beloved animated movie.
Well, I don't know if they could. I don't know. I mean, they could, but I don't know if it'd be received well if they were to change it too much.
I think it'll be fine. I mean, you got Emma Watson as the star, and you have like Josh Gad, who's kind of famous at this point, and you know, but so I was talking about Harry Potter, and you know, like Emma Watson's like starts to become kind of hot in the third movie.
You know, because her hair's all frizzy.
Huh?
I kind of thought she was hotter when her hair was more frizzy.
Dude, she was like 8.
Yeah, but
she starts to straighten her hair around the third movie. I mean, to be fair, she's only 13 or something like that in that movie.
Well, I thought she was more like, I thought it was like one of those things where she's actually like 18 playing a 13-year-old or 21 playing a
No, she's pretty young.
Oh, okay.
And all that.
Well,
yeah, no, they started as little kids. But that's but that actually goes to my question is like like, don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting. I say a lot of horrible things on this show in jest. But
yes,
I'm not gonna. Most dangerous podcast on the internet, folks. I'm not gonna go that route and say like, oh yeah, I beat off the Prisoner of Azkaban or anything like that. But But I do recognize that she starts looking hot around the third movie, when again she's probably only 12 or 13 years old. And I was asking the other day, like, is that wrong to be like, yeah, she looks hot, even though, because she's legal now,
Yeah.
like if by some miracle, Emma Watson completely lost her mind and had sex with me at this moment, it would not be a crime. Unless I Cosby'd her, it would not be a crime.
Don't you? I love the new verb.
I don't. I actually feel horrible every time I say it, just because I'm such a big Bill Cosby fan. Not so much a fan of his rape, but of him prior to knowing that he was a rapist.
Yeah. He has to have a hobby, I guess, and some are good, some are bad.
Mm-hmm. But is that wrong? Is it wrong to be like, hey, that 13-year-old chick looks really hot,
Well, I don't
legal
know
now.
if it is, because, well, let's put it to you this way. I mean, talking about it out loud normally in polite conversation, yeah, it sounds a bit creepy. It sounds a bit weird, kind of wrong, taboo-ish, I guess.
We're just talking just you and me and the millions and millions of M-Hog listeners.
Exactly. But I think what it is the people who make these films, the casting, the directors, and that, they know they want to capture that moment when you were their age, when you were their age, and that awkward time, girl crush type of thing, and you're like, you went home and you're thinking, do I ask her out? Do I do this? Oh, I just get, they're trying to capture that young emotion of what it felt like to kind of be attracted to somebody at that age. And I think that's intentional, because they're trying to draw you into those characters like Harry Potter and Ron and all them, because they were both, it was kind of that weird, I don't want to call it friends with benefits. It was two guys, one girl, kind of vying for her attention type of thing.
Okay, I wasn't sure where you were going with that one.
No, but I mean, you see what I'm saying? It's like they're trying to get you to identify with that.
Yeah, I get you. You're saying.
So you say it, she looks kind of hot. It was like, well, it worked, because that's what they were going for. They want you to give. They want to project that innocent girl next door at you to go, ooh, I can see why these two guys really dig her.
You're saying I'm not attracted to her. Like, I'm just feeling, I'm in the moment of the movie, I feel like I'm a 13-year-old boy again looking at a girl.
Yes.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'd like to put my dick in that 13-year-old Emma Watson.
Well, it just worked really well on you.
I went there.
People like that. But see, the thing with you is I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, this guy's got some self-control.
Because wait, I got self-control because I didn't fuck my TV.
Well, plus, if you do that, you'll shock your pee-pee. You don't want that.
At this point, I could use it.
Shock the pee-pee.
No, it's funny. There's a weird, cognitive dissonance between attraction on a visual level and actual attraction. Because, the other day, I was driving down the road, and I saw two girls, and they were wearing, yoga pants and, a tight, crop top, whatever, shirt, showing off their not, showing off their cleavage, but just hugging their breasts. Sure. And I was like, oh, fuck, and then, but once I got closer, I realized, oh, they're probably only 14 years old. And it's weird, because there is, as a man, you don't, sexually, you never feel like you're older.
Right.
Your genitals respond to sexual, visually sexual material no matter what. It doesn't make you a pedophile, it just means your dick works.
Right.
But, realistically, I would never be attracted to, if it was down to, if a teenage girl was to walk up to me and hey, you wanna go out, I'd be like, no, thank you. You're very young. That would feel awkward, not just for the public, but for me, myself as a human being.
Well, just think about that situation, and that thinking about it reminds me of the movie Poison Ivy. Remember Poison Ivy? Real young girl.
Yes. Was that the? No, I'm thinking of the first one was Drew Barrymore, right?
I think it was Drew Barrymore.
The
I think
second
one
was
also was
Alyssa
Alicia
Milano.
Silverstone was in one. I think.
No, you're thinking of Babysitter.
Babysitter. That was
It's the
another
same
one. But
kind
it's the
of
same
movie.
premise, as
Yeah,
the
same kind of
movies. And and then right when I think of those movies, I think of the song from Sting. What the fuck song? I just lost the title of the song. He sang about being attracted to a young girl. Do you remember the song?
No, I don't. I've actually. It's been probably a couple decades since I've seen the Drew Barrymore one.
The song was called "Don't Stand So Close to Me" by Sting.
Oh, that was the Police. Yeah, that was in that movie.
Yeah, well, no, but that's what that song is all about.
Oh, okay.
It's all about she's really young and really being flirtatious with the older guy, and he's married, and she keeps getting closer and getting handsy, and he's like, what do I do? What do I do? And he's like, don't stand so close to me because I may do something.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. I didn't realize. I didn't know. I've never heard the lyrics. I've heard the song. I've never paid attention to the lyrics. I always think more of that old 60s song, like, young girl, get out of my mind. I'm gonna fuck you and then I'm gonna do some jail time.
All those old songs too. It's like, they're always, 15, 16. Those were the ages that they were.
Yeah. There was a song about the girl's 15 and like he comes to town once a year and fucks her. Yeah. Or something like that. I forget what the song was called.
It was called a really creepy song, is what it was called. But apparently you could sing about that and that'd be on the top 40, but you couldn't say, ass or anything like that. But you could insinuate, but you couldn't actually say words like ass and shit in songs, which is weird.
Speaking of ass, I asked a question on Twitter the other day, and it's kind of a joke, but it's kind of serious. I was thinking about, and this is sort of I know you're really hip with the kids, Roman. I know you know all the slick lingo.
I'm down with them.
Yeah, you're baller. No, I was thinking about when you say, why is it when you say a girl's got a big booty, that's a net positive? Like it has a positive connotation, but if somebody says a girl has a big ass, that's a negative.
Well, see, now that's changed because back about 10 years ago, it was cool to be going like, man, she got a fat ass, and that's good. It was the way you say it. If you could say it, and it was all in the way your tone was, you could say, damn, that girl got a fat ass. You said it like that, it was a negative. But if you said, man, that girl's got a fat ass, and that's like, yeah, she does.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone say it that way, though.
I feel like you've never heard anybody be nice about the fat ass?
No, usually when you're saying a girl has a fat ass, or a big ass or whatever, it means like she's overweight. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is a question Kyle needs to be here for, because I feel
we don't need Kyle, because I know all the answers. I'm more hip to it than Kyle. Or Kevin, for that matter.
You're the blackest guy in North Carolina.
I am. Right now, on this beach, you damn right I am.
How is the beach?
The beach right now is fucking windy, but it's nice. It's nice. It was about 78 today. It's just before the big tour season kicks out over here, and it was nice. The lot of waves, just really, really cool. I mean, it's kind of like living on vacation up here. That's the problem, because it feels like you're living on vacation, and then you can fall into some traps. Like, I don't want to fucking get up. I want to go to the beach and surf. Do you
surf?
I have been known to surf. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
I mean, there's a lot of things. You're
I hang 14. Fuck the 10, man. I'm hanging 14.
You're definitely. You motherfucker. You're definitely more the onion than the rest of us, I think.
What, I stink? Is that what you say?
Well, that too.
I did too, yeah.
You know what else I was thinking about? Speaking of Harry Potter, I was thinking about the sorting part,
oh, yeah.
Wayne got sorted as a Slytherin. And according to that stupid test, I'm a Hufflepuff, but I'm clearly a Ravenclaw. I don't think that's arguable. I'm clearly a Ravenclaw.
Yeah,
but,
I can see you more as a Ravenclaw. I really do.
I think Kyle probably is a Hufflepuff. I don't know if that's the thing or what.
Well, yeah, because Kyle,
he has a genuinely pleasant disposition.
Yeah, and he huffs and he puffs.
Yes,
so,
Yeah. I was thinking about
definitely Slytherin. I think I unfortunately would fall under Slytherin.
Okay, see, that's what I was thinking about. That's what I'm getting to. So, it's a Harry Potter episode, folks. I was thinking about you, and I was like, you know what? We joke about Mart being our Harry Potter, but you are probably our actual Harry Potter, because you definitely, first of all, you're a metal guy. And
sure.
To metal, you got to go Slytherin if you're metal. But
right. I mean, that's just you have to.
But the thing is, I feel like if we put the Sorting Hat on you, the Sorting Hat would be confused, because you do a lot of dumb shit that Gryffindors do.
Yeah, I got to give you that.
If you ever heard,
I think you're right, because just like in the movie where he puts the hat on and he's like, "Are you sure?" And he whispers to him, he's like, "Okay, Gryffindor."
Right. If we found out that there was a dark troll down the hall, you would be the one to be like, "All right, I'm gonna go fight that motherfucker." I think
that'd be fun.
That's really, everyone says the Gryffindors are the brave ones. The Gryffindors are the ones that just go do stupid shit that they have no business doing.
Right.
They're always like, "Hey, let's go fight 5 dark wizards though. Let's go fight Hitler."
Yeah, see, I fall into that. Plus, as I'm going down the hall to fight the big troll, just for fun, I would do some yes, and then all people would be tripping down the hall because I find it funny. Doing my parcel tongue.
Yeah, we got a little nerdy there. But going back to how are you settling in? Is it North Carolina or is it South? I can never remember whether it's North or South.
It is North Carolina.
Okay.
I'm probably I'm about 20 miles across the border, 25 miles across the border from South Carolina.
Okay.
I'm settling in. Again, I'm up here pretty much by myself, so just me and Nikolai. We're up here at one of the beach houses, and selling my house right now. I'm in the process of selling my house, and get a little bit of time in at the job, and then figure out where I go from here and whatnot. Land, house, rent, whatever I'm doing, I don't know yet. But just kind of figuring it out. Living like a hippie right now, man.
So you're not planning on living at the beach house then?
No, just temporarily, just until I figure out where I want to be. Okay. Within relation to this job.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to stay on the island? Living on this island is, I got a really good deal right now to live on this island, with rent and everything. But if I were to buy a house on this island, dude, I can't afford that shit. I mean, we're talking, these homes out here are like $850,000 homes, $1 million homes. I can't do that. I can't make that type of mortgage payment.
Right.
So I'd be like, fuck that. If I go across the bridge and I can still see like the intercoastal waterway and certain lots, I can see the ocean. I can get it for like a third of that. Just why pay the inflated price just to be on a barrier island that gets pummeled by hurricanes? It makes no sense. It really kind of. This is when you live on an island, it is weird because prices are so high here when it comes to houses, but you are in such danger of losing everything you have all the time. Like when Matthew came through here, this place was wrecked, and these $1 million homes had to put like $500,000 worth of repairs in them. But like, where are you ahead? It just doesn't make any damn sense. Apparently, nature does not want houses here at all.
Well, I live in Louisiana, so I understand that.
Yeah, so why keep building? It makes no damn sense.
Yeah.
But people keep doing it. It was like, well, you have more money than brains, bro. That's all I can tell you.
Right. But you're settling in okay?
Yeah, settling in, trying to get the routine, and meeting my neighbors, which is kind of funny because walking around, and again, these people. There's not a lot of permanent residents on the island, especially off season. It's not a very big island, and then there's probably only 100 year-round residents here on this entire island. The island's like maybe two and a quarter miles wide and 9 miles long. It's real narrow and skinny. It's a real skinny place. But it's funny because they think I own this house and that I have all this money, and they're like, "Wow, he's really young. Wow, must have money." So now they're coming. I was like, "Hello, how are you today? Oh, it's, I just bought a new Mercedes. Would you like to see my new Mercedes?" Yes, sure, I'll take a look at it. He's like, "Oh, what type of vehicle do you have?" And I'm like, driving a Jeep.
Why does your neighbor sound like a Chris Kattan character?
I don't know. It just seemed to make sense.
I don't remember what I was going to ask you. Well, I'm glad you're settling in. I'm also happy. I remember when you last lived in North Carolina, and we used to have a lot of problems with your internet connection.
Yeah, we got that fixed. That's good.
Yeah, you're coming in clear. So, because I was kind of worried about that, but
yeah, they did a lot of improvements to the area when it came to they ran fiber optics to the island instead of a man and a donkey and a crank that tries to generate power to a Tesla coil. It's working a lot better now.
I don't know. I kind of like the other version. Sounds a lot cooler. Fiber optics compared to a crank with a Tesla coil. That sounds pretty awesome. And a donkey? Who doesn't love a donkey?
Yeah, and he doesn't do anything, but just never mind. Let's not get into it. It'll make the show weird.
Yeah. So, you seen anything interesting lately?
Really, just it's such a culture shock. These people are weird here. People are weird everywhere. But I got so used to living in Georgia and the way people are. I mean, you can go to state, like, and I don't know, you've noticed this before. Depending on where you go, certain areas, people are just different than the way they act as a group, in a mass.
People are generally both. It's weird. People are kind of all the same, but then they're all different. And there's no, like, it doesn't make any sense, but it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, like, I'm going to be offensive to somebody here, not meaning to be. Like, people from the Midwest, okay, in my experience, put it that way, are very dry and kind of blah personality people. They're very nice for the most part, but they're just kind of very, like they're in some sort of trauma has happened to them and they have PTSD. They're just kind of distant, So
right.
Using that example like that, so Savannah's very artsy, outgoing. People are just like on 10 all the time. Moving to here, it's like living in a Jimmy Buffett song. So it's all,
So everybody's overweight and drunk?
Yeah, drunk, redneck Riviera. Everybody's got
sounds good
ball caps on and like $300,000 yachts, listening to Kid Rock and Bob Seger.
See, you lost me at Kid Rock. Everything else sounded like my kind of heaven.
Well, I mean, I didn't know where else to go with. I was trying to think of something redneck Riviera-ish.
Well,
Kenny Chesney. Okay, Kenny Chesney and like, it's very weirdly laid back, But in saying that it's laid back, it sounds really great. It sounds really cool. Yes, but they're not. I'm used to moving very quick, doing things like, I got to get this done. I got to go and do this. I got to get this done. Here they're like, well, I'm going to get it done. Well, I didn't get it to it today, but I should. You know what? I can't do it tomorrow either. I'll call you when I can get it to you. That's the way they are here. Where I'm like, if I'm telling you I'm going to get it done by 5 o'clock, it's done by 5 o'clock. That's just the way I am. I don't care if I got to scrap the entire rest of the day. If I'm, tell you that I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something. But these people are on their own time. They got their own time frame, which is fine. I just got to get used to it. I spent so much time down in Georgia and then coming from Pennsylvania originally. I mean, that's like, Pennsylvania is like when it comes to speed and moving, it's like New York in that aspect. It's just like boom, 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 go, go, go. But I never lost that, so
well,
I don't know. It's just weird.
Well, it's interesting you should say that, because it sort of leads into something that, in a weird way, it leads into something I wanted to talk about. I've been watching a lot of YouTube lately.
Good. Me
too. Because of the way our culture is now after the last election cycle, like we're sort of like 24/7 bombarded with politics on some level.
Yeah, of some sort. Yeah, you're right.
And if anyone's like worried, like, oh, he's going to start talking about politics, no, not on this episode. But I started following this guy. His name is Sargon of Akkad. He's this British guy. Basically, so
is he from the planet?
Hmm?
Is he from the planet? This planet with the name Sargon?
No, it's meant to be a reference to like an old, I guess, a philosopher from like the 600s or something like that. I forget what the explanation was.
Those are the characters from the Conehead movies.
No, unfortunately.
It's Sargon.
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
So essentially, like, I've been following a lot of different people for different perspectives on the world and on our culture and our political situation lately. And Sargon of Akkad is a British guy who basically there's an interesting philosophical not debate, I guess debate going on, but so I consider myself to be like a constitutional libertarian.
Okay.
And there's different types of people with very similar perspectives in some ways. And some of them are like would just call themselves like classical conservatives and stuff like that. But there's another group that call themselves classical liberals. And classical liberals are what the conservatives, or what became the conservatives at some point.
Okay.
So, like for instance, I have a lot in common with classical liberals, but there's certain things that I don't. Like I'm not a big believer in abortion, for instance.
Sure.
And there's a few other key differences, but some of those are personal and some of those are philosophical.
Sure.
But this guy is what's known as a classical liberal. And it's interesting to listen to. There's him and another guy named Dave Rubin that I listen to. It's interesting to listen to because we're so inundated with this idea that if someone else has this other label, which is often liberal, you're led to believe like, oh, we have nothing in common. Like we might have a few things in common, like yeah, we're both cool with gay marriage, whatever. But like those people are over there, these people are over here, and there is an intersection where these lines politically meet. But I've been listening to this guy, and he's got a lot of really interesting videos online. Some of them are about what he finds objectionable about libertarianism. But one of the videos he did was talking about this video that this woman made. It was supposed to be an educational video, and basically I'm trying to remember what the phrase is that she used, but essentially the concept was this woman was saying how like a lot of people believe in the scientific belief that environment determines climate and environment determines evolution or evolutionary standards. Basically saying that where you live plays a heavy factor in whether or not you'll be successful. So okay. The idea being like, well, for instance, you're one of your wife's points of heritage, Russia.
Sure.
Russia produces a certain type of person because it is a historically like cold environment and harsher, harsher seasons and stuff, so it made it harder to grow crops, and it just made life generally more difficult. So they're considered to be much tougher people as a result.
Okay, sure. I can see that.
What this girl was arguing is that these are all excuses for racism. basically, the way she explains it is that when people argue that your environment determines the likelihood of a successful society, what they're saying is that it's a way of saying white people are better than black people and other people. That being because, like, generally speaking, it was easier in Western Europe, Central Western Europe, to develop crops and all these other things, but that's not the real reason. It's just because we're saying white people are better. So it was, the whole thing. And so the guy was just pointing out how it's absolutely stupid to suggest that your environment doesn't play a factor in how successful your society will be. Like, that's not the only fact.
Does that make, if I'm understanding this correctly, maybe
I might not be explaining it.
I don't see how that would make. I mean, for regarding this other woman's point of view, I don't see how that makes anything racist. Because
what she's saying is that it's not
the wrong word for what she's trying to say. I think she's using the word racist because it's the only one she knows. I think it's culturalist. I think maybe if you were to use a term like culturalist, maybe culturally hardier, I would say certain cultures are hardier than others when it comes to certain things. And but I couldn't say that I couldn't agree with that woman either, because it doesn't make a person racist because someone's culture, just like
no. What she's saying is the people that are arguing that your environment is one of the heaviest factors in a culture's development, that the people that are arguing that are racist, because the people that are arguing that are trying to say white people are better than, like, say, sub-Saharan Africa.
They're not better, they're different. People are just different.
Well, that would be a rational argument, but that's not what she's trying to argue. She's trying to say...
Okay, I got what you're saying.
You got to understand, this is...
If I was to see her, though, if I was to talk to her, I'd be like, you know what, this is just... I have noticed this a lot when you especially on YouTube and stuff like that. People really seem to be wanting to look for anything possible to stick that word as an excuse for something. You can't go through history. I mean, if talking about the concept of racism, first that term didn't come out until, like, I think the late 17 or early 1800s, but you can't use that term for everything, people. It just doesn't make any damn sense.
By the way,
it turns out to be a cop-out for somebody's insecurities what it turns out to. If you're insecure and you don't know what to do, for most of them, most people, and I'm not saying them as a specific group of people, I'm talking them as those who constantly throw this term out. It could be white, Asian, black, it doesn't matter. Who keep throwing this term out, it is a cop-out for some sort of insecurity about the way your life is going. You're looking for someone else to blame or a group of people to blame because of your lack of drive, your lack of vision, your lack of trying. Because you could say you're trying your ass off, and trying your ass off doesn't mean sitting in a chair waiting for your miracle to happen and going to church. That's not trying. You got to do something for yourself. And if you think doing something for yourself is calling a bunch of other people racist because of some weird fucking cultural hiccup that happened years ago that had nothing to do with the way that your people were treated at a certain period of time, it makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, two things. One, I think the phrase I was looking for was climate determinism. It's something like that. The other thing is that the girl that we're discussing is like the stereotypical picture of a white college girl who's been reading too many communist lecturers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, literally.
You're going to have that because, again, and the reason, when she was 10 years old, she didn't have this thought in her head. But now she's trying to develop her own identity, and she doesn't know what to do with hers, so she's trying to grasp onto somebody else's cause
Well, no, a lot of the colleges teach this kind of shit these days.
That's ridiculous that it's even being taught, that there's fucking classes, because the more you teach, I mean, knowledge of it is one thing. Not acting on it is one thing, which is positive. I don't condone anybody acting based on a racist motivation for anything. I just find that stupid. People are people. It doesn't matter. But to have classes that teach the idea of racism is just perpetuating racism.
Well, I mean, a lot of these colleges are filled, not. I don't want to overgeneralize here, but a lot of these colleges are filled with like radicals.
They are. It's a shame that they're in the position they are. You don't need radical people.
Well, a lot of it's by design.
Impressionable people. You need rational people teaching people to be rational.
Well, it's by design. I mean, if you think about like, let's say you had a strongly held belief.
Sure.
That the world is flat, for instance.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Doesn't really matter.
Sure.
And you felt like in order for society to fix its problems, you had to convince the world that the world is flat. Well, what would be the simplest way of doing that? You'd become a college professor or a teacher and start teaching the youth. And once you've got them convinced, then it's only a matter of time before that catches on.
It's just accepted radical propaganda is all it is.
Yeah. But to relate it back to what you were saying, the reason that this does relate, believe it or not, is that you were talking about how, people in the Midwest are, nothing wrong with them, but they're very much bread and butter people, meat and potatoes.
They are. Yeah, good people.
And it culturally, what you'll find is that a lot of that is like environmental determinism, whatever it is. Because if you think about, there's only so many cities in America where there's a ton of stuff going on. Right. It's not, you have like your New Yorks and LAs, then you have like Orlando, which I consider to be like the city where arguably in America there's the most going on, at least as far as like a varying scale. Because there aren't just theme parks. There's all kinds of like stuff.
There's a hodgepodge of everything in Orlando.
Yeah, and not only that, but like in the surrounding areas, you got beach towns, you got Daytona where they have NASCAR, isn't that far away. You have this large,
just cultural microclimates everywhere.
Right, but then if you go say to northern Florida. Mm-hmm. There's really nothing going on. So northern Floridians tend to be obsessed with college football, specifically the Seminoles.
Yeah, college football. You've got up north. You've got a lot of naval. You've got a lot of military up there too in northern areas. Mm-hmm. And in more center towards the state, you get up into a lot of farmland. Right,
but if you go to the coast, like St. Aug and all that, you get like a more interesting variant of people, and a lot of that is because of where I determine how interesting a culture is usually by how much they have going on. If you go to the Midwest, nothing against living there. I'm sure there are plenty of great people there, and I'm sure plenty of smart people there. But there's not as much going on in towns like in the Midwest. And again, I'm not trying to insult anybody. If we have any listeners in the Midwest, I'm not trying to insult you or suggest that you're a simpleton. But there just isn't as much going on. So generally speaking, you're going to breed less curious people that develop more, there's not a whole lot of reason to sit around reading Nietzsche. Not that you should read Nietzsche, but there's not a whole lot of reason to do that if you're from the Midwest. It doesn't, not to say that you don't, or obviously they have colleges.
It's just a different area when you're talking Midwest, like you said. There's importance placed on different things in different areas. There, I think the Midwest has got it down when it comes to it's a great place to not deal with as much stress. Even in the cities in the Midwest, the I actually looked at a study on this before when we were looking at places to move. Long time ago, I was looking at this. Midwest regions tend to have a lower stress and heart attack rate. Well, that's cool. They're more laid back when in the Midwest. They don't have to worry. They're not trying to keep up with the Joneses. Where you go to the East Coast, it's East Coast is full tilt all the time. And then you go to the West Coast, it's a little bit more audacious on the West Coast. Everything's to excess on the West Coast when it comes to everything out there. So it's one of those things where it's you have to see. I think if depends on where you're at. Like I was born and raised in Pennsylvania, so everything very, very fast paced, very, very fast paced. You had your time to relax, but you didn't know you were relaxing because you were doing so much. So when you take somebody from that type of and then move them somewhere where everything is on a different speed, it takes a bit to get used to, and that's where the term culture shock really comes into play. People don't use that term much anymore, but it still comes into play when you're talking about people and where they're living. But culture shock, for anybody who wants to look that actual term up, has nothing to do with race, people. It's just culture shock. We're not shocked at other people's races. It's just the way people act in certain areas. They're just a little bit different,
To use, just to correct myself a little bit and use a little better example that's at least more relatable to me, New Orleans.
Sure.
If you think about New Orleans, first of all, there's not a lot. People think there's a lot going on in the city. There's not. You can pretty much, you can go eat, you can go drink, and if you got somebody, you can go fuck. It's most of what goes on here. And I think the reason that New Orleans does have a culture with a lot of variation in it is strictly, and it pains me to say this, but it's strictly because of Mardi Gras. But what it does is it brings in people from other cultures and other areas that sort of congregate here, and some of them settle down and some of them don't, but it brings in that variation that allowed New Orleans to develop in a way that other cities and some of it's also the port, obviously. We're the largest seaport in at least America, if not the world. We might be the world.
It's one of them. The top seaports are Boston, New York, Savannah, and I think New Orleans. I think that area.
I'm pretty sure New Orleans is number one in America. I don't know if it's number one in the world though. But either way, either way, those two factors, Mardi Gras and the port, both play a factor in giving an area that otherwise, if you think about it, like New Orleans isn't a great place to live. Like we were talking about, like being on a hurricane path. Everywhere you go in New Orleans, even the nicest houses are built on essentially sinking land because we're below sea level.
Sure.
So it's 'cause it's all swampland. So there's not a lot of great things in the environment, but the port brought in the French and the Spanish to this area.
Well, you've got history that brings people there. A lot of areas or places where people want to go, like New Orleans and Savannah and Boston and places like that, they go for the history. They're drawn by the history, and sometimes it's architecture, and sometimes when you talk history and you talk architecture, you got to throw the word in culture, because there's those cultures that founded these areas. It basically, like New Orleans, it allows people to go there. They're drawn by the romantic ideas and the freedom to fantasize on a life that they can create, that they've already created in their head of way it's supposed to be. So they want to live it out. It allows them to do that, I think, and that's why places like New Orleans is so great for that. I mean, to me, I really like. I like the area. I like Metaire's fun. It reminds me more of where I grew up around Pittsburgh and stuff. Is what Metairie reminds me of. But like if you're going down to the quarter in New Orleans, it's that architecture. You're surrounded by. For me, it's always been about history and architecture. You're surrounded by beautiful decay, and it's just very romantic in that aspect. And I think that lures a lot of people there.
But I'm saying
preconceived notions.
But I'm saying historically that all starts with just the fact that we're at the end of the Mississippi River. Like, there's no other reason really for the French and the Spanish. I don't remember which one, because there was, it went back and forth from French to Spanish, and then the English eventually took it over.
French, Spanish, and Dutch, and then the Irish came in.
I don't think so. I think it was just French and Spanish, like, because they went back and forth. But either way, there's no real reason for them to settle here except for it's at the mouth of the Mississippi River.
Right, and you had probably there was a lot of Native American tribes down there, so you had New Orleans was big, and because of that area, for the fur trade. You were on a fur trade route.
But that all goes back to just the certain things in the environment determined whether or not the people would come here, and from there other things grew out of it.
Right, and then you bring personalized cultures from different areas. You've got music down there that became its own thing from a mash of different areas, different cultures. You got the Zydeco music, which is really cool.
That's not really that heavy down here.
It used to be, dude. It really used to be.
If you go out to Lafayette and all those other areas, they tend to embrace a lot of that more.
Yeah, and then you got all those cool accents down there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's cool. I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I think we covered a huge gambit of stuff I wasn't even expecting to cover.
Yeah.
But let's recap. Let's recap what happened on Dragon Ball Z real quick. It's But help me recap, dude. I can't remember what the hell we all talked about.
I mean, I don't even watch Dragon Ball Z anymore. Is that still going on?
I don't know. It's just this first thing that popped in my head. I don't know. I think what it boils down to, people, is people are different. People are people. So why should it be? You and I should get along so awfully. No, I think people are just.
Isn't it? Oh, well, no. It's why shouldn't we get along in harmony?
Oh, I thought it was get along so awfully.
No, like that goes against the idea of the song. I guess that makes
better sense now. It was kind of a mean song, wasn't it? Maybe that's what everybody else has been listening to. They're thinking about getting along so awfully.
I think the bottom line for this episode is don't have sex with a 13-year-old.
Sure.
Even if you're 13. But wait.
Yeah, because don't get her pregnant. At least it's a good moral, to the story.
But I do recommend everyone.
Sexy racist 13-year-old. There you go.
I do recommend everyone go out and check out Sargon of Akkad on YouTube, AKKAD. I think you'll find some of the ideas either familiar or interesting if you're actually willing to listen. I don't think anyone who listens to this show will be offended by like even when he goes on about his problems with libertarianism. I don't find it offensive. I don't totally agree with it, but so interesting.
It's something different to listen to. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And after you listen to it, leave us a comment. Tell us what you think about it.
I also want to remind people that when this is going to come out on Lundi Gras here in New Orleans, so March 4th.
Explain Lundi Gras real quick.
I mean, most people just call it Monday Gras. It's just the day before Mardi Gras Day.
Okay, so it's Mardi Gras Eve. Okay.
Pretty much. I mean, there's nothing special that goes on with it. It's just like I'll be at work today, but there'll be nothing to do because no one's going to do business with other businesses on Lundi Gras.
I got you.
But so this Saturday, March 4th, if you're in the New Orleans area, just as a reminder, we're having our open mic again at the Babylon, our monthly open mic. The 8 Unholy Nights are done now. But this one's special because comedian John Rowe, Kyle's very, very good friend, one of his best friends, did die, and we're doing we're taking donations. It's a free show. It's a free comedy open mic, but we're taking donations for the Rowe family. Because if you've never had to bury someone, it's very expensive.
Very, very expensive.
It's almost criminally expensive, to be honest with you. It costs as much to die as it does to live these days. And
sometimes it costs even more.
Right.
It depends. But it's for a good cause, people, and it's just think of this: if the unfortunate events happen to someone that you loved, wouldn't you like some people to come up and help you out? I think it's a good thing. It's definitely a good thing.
And here's the thing, like, even if you're, not to accuse anyone of being selfish, but even if you don't have any particularly selfless reasons to go, John Rowe was beloved by the entire New Orleans comedy community, or at least most of them. I can't say all. So we're probably going to have some of the funniest people in the city of New Orleans in the Babylon this Saturday night. So is it worth it to you to just throw in a $5 and come on by? Probably. I'm pretty sure it's going to be at like 10 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, with the amount of talent that's going to be there, I mean, you couldn't find another comedy show in the area for the amount that you could be donating right now. And it doesn't, every little bit's going to help, and that's what it's all about is really helping out, helping out, keeping it local, helping people out in your area, and if you're coming in from out of the area, stop by, go to the Babylon and see something. See a bunch of people coming together for a good reason, and turn off the radio and stop listening to all the bad shit people are talking about. See what life is really about, and this is people coming together. So come out and be part of that.
Oh, and also, if you are in the New Orleans area, if you want to look it up, I believe it's Wednesday over at the House of Blues. Kyle's going to be co-hosting another I don't think that one's a donation show. I think it's a benefit. It's a standard benefit where you pay at the door. I'm not positive. Go look it up. It's the House of Blues. I think it's Wednesday night. Just Google like Kyle Smith, House of Blues, John Rowe.
It's a hell of a preview at the Babylon, though. You need to come see that for sure.
Yeah, and that'll be easier than going on a weeknight for most people. So, sure. All right. Well, I guess that about does it. I've been rocking Steve.
And I've been rocking Rum.
And thank you for joining us. And don't forget to keep it Cosby.
Yeah, but no, don't keep it Cosby.
Keep
Young it. Girl, get out of my mind. No, let's not do Cosby.
All right, keep it metal.
Keep it metal. Later, y'all.